Were you surprised that the president hadn't spoken with Tony Hayward, the CEO of BP?
I don't know what the communication is with the president.
Well, I think it only has gotten brought up because the president, there was this, Matt Lauer, my colleague, he used more colorful language. I'm not going to, I feel embarrassed to say it in front of you, but he was talking about whose butt to kick. And the president seemed to get mad, and he said that he's still determining, but that is what he plans to do. First, what do you think of the language? And second, should it be all about BP at this point?
I think the language was quite indicative of the need to do something to jolt these people. They live in another world where they think that they could drill into the unknown way down deep into the sea and take the cheap way down instead of the safe way down. They've been irresponsible. In fact, it's sort of betrayal on the American people to contend that we can go all the way down because we know how. And then if something happens, we can stop it, and if we can't, we can clean it up. That was a total misrepresentation, and the question is, was there negligence? And that's what the Attorney General will look into. And
then raising the liability cap. Now, do you want to get rid of it completely?
Yes.
As far as this whole company, you want it unlimited?
I don't see why there should be any cap.
Can that get through? Can you get that through the House?
I believe that we can make a case for that. Why should there be a cap? They are liable for the damage that they cause.
I want to move to politics here. There's a piece that's coming out in the Sunday New York Times that quotes you having a conversation with David Axelrod, the president's one of his senior advisor, and it says basically you're giving him a hard time about the president's rhetoric when it comes to when he goes out on the stump, he sometimes beats up Washington, and you have made no secret of the fact that you'd like to see him. When you do that, you believe he's hurting all Democrats. First of all, is that a fair representation of your conversation with David Axelrod?
No, I would say that I have no complaint about the president's presentation. No one is more eloquent and dynamic in terms of making the case for why we need to take the country in a new direction. Sometimes my House members like a differentiation because the president will say Washington didn't do this or that. Well, it was the Bush administration that didn't do this or that because it was their lack of supervision, of regulation, of discipline that caused recklessness on Wall Street to cause joblessness on Main Street, people losing their jobs, their health care, their homes, their pensions, perhaps their children's higher education, and no longer can we have a situation where they're privatizing the gain and nationalizing the risk, sending the bill to the taxpayer can exist. Those were the policies of the Bush administration. We're not going back to that, but we don't want to be lumped in with it.
At what point do you think the public says, you know what, yes, we were unhappy with the Bush administration. That's why you were Speaker of the House. That's why Barack Obama's President of the United States. So stop blaming the Bush administration. When you hear that, why do you hear this critique? Why do Democrats keep blaming the Bush administration?
I haven't heard that.
Going forward?
I haven't heard that.
So you think it's a favor? But when does that run out? When do you feel like that runs out with the public?
Well, it runs out when the problems go away. And here's what the president inherited. He inherited a deficit when this president inherited from the Clinton administration 4 budgets that were either in surplus or in balance. And he turned it into a massive deficit. He brought us to the brink of a financial crisis, brought us to the brink of deep recession, ignoring issues that relate to climate change.
This is a very relevant thing.
Absolutely.
This should be one of the issues in the fall. Bush administration, what happened then?
Well, and what continues to happen now? On our energy bill, we wanted to rein in the oil companies. The Republicans said no. On the health insurance bill, we wanted to rein in the health insurance industry. The Republicans said no. On Wall Street reform legislation, we want to rein in those who were reckless on Wall Street. The Republicans said no. We didn't get one single vote. We didn't get one single vote from the Republicans in the House on the Wall Street reform legislation to protect the taxpayers and the American worker from that recklessness. So it's a continuation of those Bush policies in the Congress, but they have their roots, and the problems were caused during the Bush administration.